Hello and welcome to Backstage Buzz at the MAC, where you get the inside story and the art scene right from the directors and creators of the events. I'm Diana Martinez, and this month I am so pleased to welcome back Steve Scott, director of Buffalo Theatre Ensemble's season closer, Miracle on South Division Street. After that, I'll chat with some motion picture television students who will present their short films at this year's animation night. But first, I'd like to welcome Ava Stevens to the show, COD's Fashion Studies Program Coordinator. Welcome, Ava.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
So nice to have you. So, Eva, you created for us a beautiful replica of a Frida Kahlo dress for the MAC's big press event for the Cleve Carney opening of our exhibition in 2020.
Yes.
Tell us how you did that, how you made an exact replica of the dress.
Well, it's exact by look, obviously not by all the workmanship that goes into Frida's clothes. We did it. I put a word out for my students of whoever wants to work on this project, come to this meeting. And so I had a number of students that wanted to participate, and we all just broke up the task at hand because we had a very short time frame to do this. So I knew we had a fabric printer that prints incredible fabrics, and so we analyzed pictures and did some measurements. So for instance, in order to get the proportions right, we all measured our heads and then decided, okay, if your head is this many inches and in the picture and this is this many inches, how big should we make it? So we could get kind of a guesstimate of proportion, because if you're off by a little, it'll show. So we started with that, and then deciding how much lace is showing, how much skirt is showing, where does the neckline or the shoulders end. So we did it by analyzing photos that we saw of the actual garments. So then it went into Photoshop. So I had some students looking for fabrics for the ruffle, and then we found a small little section in a photo that was the top of a fold that we were able to get a 1-inch section and then repeat it in Photoshop in order to make all the patterns that went around it. So the picture we were going off of, or trying to replicate, was the Vogue cover for the Mexican Vogue. And there was no good shot of the lace. And so that went through probably 4 or 5 different versions. And so some of our Frida fighters, as I called them, because they were there working with us, or working with me, showed me some techniques that, maybe it's this kind of embroidery. And we scoured the internet and found one shot of Frida standing on a rooftop in New York wearing the shirt that she was wearing in that photo. And so we were able to get the shapes off of that, and then in Photoshop put the colors in from the photograph that we had in color, and put it all together, and voila.
It's amazing how much technology is influencing everything now, isn't it?
Right.
That you're talking about Photoshop and making a dress.
Yes,
yes.
Without having those tools, it would have been
forever.
Yes. We had a 2-week window, or 3 weeks, so we were very excited to work on it. And then everybody took a body part and sewed it. They made patterns, they made mock-ups, and then we sewed it together and delivered.
Thank you so much. It was so beautiful. So beautiful.
Thank you.
So you are now getting ready with your students for another fashion show.
Yes.
And you do a big fashion show every year, correct?
We do.
And it's a big deal.
It is a big deal. It is.
How many students would you say are showing their clothing in this show?
Probably about 50 altogether, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, in different forms. So our seniors are showing collections. And our non-seniors, or first year and second year, first semester, are showing pieces that they do or make in classes.
So if I'm a freshman, sophomore, first year, I'm making one dress or one outfit, one thing. And if the kids finishing up are doing an entire wardrobe, like a collection of clothing.
Yes, their requirement is they have to have 3 looks, which is full ensembles. Some do more because they have a great inspiration and they're on a roll. And they vary a great deal as to what their inspiration was. It's a fast turnaround, 16 weeks, the semester. They have to
It's
do
like
the
the TV
research.
show.
Yeah, right.
You have
They to
16
do-
weeks.
right.
Are you off the island?
Yeah, get it together. So they have to start with finding some sort of inspiration, and then researching the inspiration. Then they have to choose fabrics, they have to do drawings, then they do patterns, and then they make a first sample in muslin. So it's a lot of process just to get a sample to see, okay, is this really where I was going? So
Right. So the steps are make a mock-up of the dress out of
Right,
muslin?
right.
Or the outfit or whatever it
Yeah.
is. And then do you critique each step?
Well, it's a matter of not necessarily critiquing as much as making sure they fit correctly. We do more critiquing in the sketching stage.
Okay.
But during the whole process, the teacher is showing them different techniques to use on, whatever finishes they have. A lot of times what's in your head doesn't end up what the garment looks like. And so they have to go back and rethink and, redraw lines and, reshape things. So it's a lot of like thinking and working.
So beyond the design, are you teaching them to sew?
They have already learned to sew.
They've already learned.
Right.
Okay.
So they learned sewing and pattern drafting and draping in the first 3 semesters. It's really unusual to have a 2-year program that ends with a fashion show and a collection. That's usually reserved for 4-year. So, and they really step up to the plate. We have some incredible students that do beautiful work. So it's always exciting.
Is it open to the public?
It is.
So we can all go?
Yes.
And when is the show?
It is May 11th.
Okay.
We have 2 shows, one at 3, one at 7, and it's on the street scene in the Homeland Security Building.
Oh, how exciting.
It is. It is. It's a great venue. It looks like a street. So we put the runway right down the middle, and we have lights come in and put the seating in, and it's pretty exciting.
Well, that's wonderful. I wish you all the best of
thank
luck,
you.
and I hope to get there because it sounds really great.
Yes.
So it's on a Saturday, 2 shows.
Right.
They can get their tickets by going online?
They can. The MAC sells them,
Okay, perfect.
so they're online there, and they can also be bought at the door.
Perfect. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Break a leg with your show. The COD's fashion show will be on May 11th. For tickets, more information about any event, stay tuned to the COD Fashion Show on Facebook or visit atthemac.org. And you can also call 630-942-4000. Be sure to stop by the MAC this May for some great shows. On May 3rd, jazz music superstar Dee Dee Bridgewater will take the stage. National Geographic Live is back at the MAC on May 5th. Water conservationist and photographer Christina Mittermeier will speak about the life-giving power of water and the lack of water in her presentation called Standing at the Water's Edge. Don't miss the wonderful Ballet Hispanico on May 11th. Salt Creek Ballet presents Le Jardin Animé, Classical Treasures on May 18th and 19th. For tickets or more information on these shows, visit atthemac.org or call 630-942-4000. Last year, we were lucky enough to have Steve Scott direct the BTE's wonderful production of Outside Mullingar. And this year, he's back to direct what is sure to be a great show, Miracle on South Division Street. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you, Diana. Nice to be here.
Nice to have you. So, Steve, we were just chatting a little bit about this play.
Yes.
Can you, I don't want to give it away, so I'm going to let you tell everybody what it's about.
It is a family comedy. Takes place in Buffalo, New York in 2010. In the middle of a neighborhood that is now pretty washed out and decrepit. And this family is one of the few families still left in the neighborhood. The main claim to fame that the family has is they have a shrine, a statue built by the matriarch's father that came to him supposedly in a vision of the Blessed Virgin. And so he created a statue. It's been on display. It's kind of a semi-tourist attraction, sort of. but they believe fervently in what this statue represents, especially Clara, the mother. Clara has 3 grown children, and they're each dealing with their own issues. One of them is a would-be actress and writer and has decided to do a one-person show based on the family heritage and on this statue. And what she comes up with is very, very different from what anybody else thinks is going to happen. And it's all about the secrets you keep from your family, what happens when you reveal them, how do you face the truth about things. But it's all done in a very loving and very funny way. So
right, it's a comedy, right? When they find out the truth, everybody's like, what?
Yes, exactly. There are several of those kind of, oh my God moments. But it's very funny, and it all ends up just fine. But getting there is the fun of the play.
So like a sitcom, like a family sitcom kind of a show.
Yeah.
Good for everybody in the family?
Exactly. Yes, there's there's a little obscenity, but there's nothing beyond that. Yeah.
Good. So everybody, bring everybody.
Bring everybody. It'll be a lot of fun.
And I think it's nice and refreshing, we were talking about, to just do something that's fun and light. But family, we can all relate to the secrets that the family keeps. And you're like, what? I never knew that.
Well, and I think these days communication within families is sometimes difficult because we have different feelings about things and all that sort of stuff. This shows a family that makes all these discoveries and goes through some kind of big things, but they also figure out how to stick together and how to love each other despite those differences. And I think that's really important today.
It is really important.
Yeah.
And I think, it's funny how parents or a different generation is trying to protect people from things.
Yes.
And then the younger generation usually like, so what? Nobody cares.
It's not a big deal.
Exactly.
It's not a big deal.
Exactly.
But what I'm thinking is a big deal, and you should understand that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very interesting piece, actually.
So you're getting ready to go into rehearsals for this show. Tell us what your process is. What are you doing right now?
With a piece like this, I basically read the play a number of times so I kind of know how it moves and what the beats, the kind of chapters are in the play. And then I do a lot of, I wait until I get in the rehearsal room with the actors because I've got an extraordinarily wonderful cast, as I did last year for Outside Mullingar. And a lot of what I do comes from them. So, I prime the pump a little bit, but then see where they go and see who needs help doing what. And together we kind of fashion this piece. And it's the way I love to work if I can.
So are you working with the designers right now? And have you decided on the set and the
We
costume?
have decided, yes, the set is kind of lovely, and the costumer and I are working right now on things. So yeah, we're kind of in the middle of all of that right now.
So you, in your mind, have an idea of what it's going to look like?
Yes.
Already?
Yes. And as I was reading it again last night in preparation for this, I had the set in mind and I started making notes about, okay, well, this should happen here. Let's see how we can get over here, that sort of thing. So, yeah.
Because you're doing a comedy, how important is pace to you?
Pace is important eventually.
Okay.
I think at the beginning, I try not to push that.
Right.
Because the actors have to have time to make the discoveries that they need to make. And comedy is in some ways more serious a challenge in the rehearsal room than drama is, because you have to take it very seriously. What's funny to me is not funny necessarily to these people who are going through it. Their responses may be funny. So I think we want to keep it as honest as we can. So
that's the key.
Sugarcoating. Yeah.
Right.
Honesty for a play like this is very important.
To me, I remember when I directed, comedy is the hardest.
Oh, it is. It's incredibly hard. And you
the
really
timing.
don't know until the end.
I know.
And you need that audience to tell you what the timing needs to be. And then you get a sense of this needs to pick up or this needs to go away or whatever. But yeah.
It's really, and you don't know till the audience is there.
And it's terrifying.
But I think you can't direct for the laugh ever. Like
No,
you have to direct
no,
for the
no.
moment, the sincerity, the truth. Otherwise you have this hole.
The sooner you go for the laugh, the sooner you don't get it.
Exactly.
Because the audience knows if they're just being pandered to, and
Right.
At least subliminally. So no, you got to keep it honest, and that way, if something doesn't get a laugh that you think, well, you're still
forward.
playing. Yeah,
Right.
you're still playing the piece. Yeah. So it is a challenge.
Well, and then once you start finding the laughs and where they fall, then you kind of almost have to go, wait, hold on for a laugh.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Hold a minute. Hold on. You're stepping on it.
Well, and you need actors who are kind of aware of that, how to hold for the laugh and how to deliver that so that the laugh will come and all of that. But that comes through the last part of rehearsal, basically.
Is this show has a little touches on religion, doesn't it?
Yes.
Just a little bit?
Well, Clara, the matriarch, is a devout Catholic. Her family came from Poland in the 40s, and she was raised a devout Catholic, and she's very invested in that. And her main goal is to get the Pope to declare this an authentic religious shrine. So she is trying to figure out ways. She's very excited that one of her daughters is dating an ex-priest because he has a pipeline to the Vatican. Turns out that he wasn't really a priest, and he doesn't. But anyway, she's very determined to do this, which means the revelations later on in the play are even more kind of heightened for her, especially. Yeah.
Is this a premiere?
No, it's been done a number of other places.
But in Chicago?
But in Chicago, yeah. Tom Dudzik, who's the author, is. A number of people have seen some of his plays around, but he's not terribly well known around here.
Well, I can't wait. It sounds terrific.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
This is my kind of show.
Yeah, well, I'll see you there.
I will see you there. Break a leg.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Be sure to get your tickets for Miracle on South Division Street by visiting atthemac.org or visiting our box office or call 630-942-4000. The show runs May 2nd through June 2nd. Come and see the many talents of our COD students at some of these spring concerts. First up is the DuPage Chorale Americana concert on May 5th. DuPage Community Concert Band will perform on May 6th. Chamber Orchestra will be performing on May 7th. The Percussion Ensemble will take the stage on May 8th. Watch the Guitar Ensemble play in the afternoon on May 9th, and then come back in the evening to hear our chamber singers and concert choir. Don't forget the Student Jazz Showcase on May 10th. For tickets or more information on these shows, visit atthemac.org or call 630-942-4000. Every year in May, the Motion Picture Television Department, or MPTV, hosts an animation night where students get to premiere their hard work on a film festival with their classmates. This year, I thought I'd like to invite two students onto the show to give us a little preview of their animation work. So this is Mirza, and this is Abbas.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us.
So tell me your last name.
My last name, Anas.
Anas?
Yes.
Mirza Anas and?
Hussein, Abbas Hussein.
Abbas Hussein. So welcome. So now, we just clarified a little earlier, you really are animation students within the Motion Picture Television division.
Specifically, yeah.
And how long have you guys been studying here?
I've been studying for, would be the end of my third year here.
Okay. And this is your first year, right?
Right, because I'm with the CCI program that's only allowed me to be here for 1 year.
And you're an international student from?
Indonesia.
Congratulations. That's a big deal. And you didn't speak English until just this year, and you sound incredible.
Thank you.
I can attest. So you each brought your final clip, and so on this night, all the students show what they've animated. And when you're talking about animation, you're talking about, explain to them 2D versus 3D.
Well, 2D animation, a lot of it has to do with, like, you have to plan out a lot of your specific moods, and you're drawing each in-between frame. So you have keyframe animations that are like your extreme of emotion, and then you have to in-between those frames. But in like 3D animation, you select like where your keyframes are going to be, and then like the computer in-betweens like for you.
Yeah, actually in 3D, it's also started with 2D. So you
do 3D,
yes,
right? So your project is in 3D.
Right.
I want to show each one. And that way the audience knows what we're talking about, because they're probably like, what are you talking about?
Like, what is this 3D?
So basically we're talking about like animation is cartoons, special effects, those kinds of things. And what do you want to do with this degree when you're done?
I plan on transferring to DePaul University and furthering my education and eventually working for a studio either within like Chicago or
Really?
California, doing at least interning or doing something there where
In animation?
yeah, within animation.
Like for a video game or for a production company?
Well,
or
just basically anything.
Anybody
and like
who-
anything that will allow me to continue working on animation and like making, it's allowing me to get better, I guess,
Yes.
and allowing me to further myself as a creator.
Let's take a look at your clip right now, okay? So the audience can see what we're talking about. Okay, so what we just saw was a 2D pencil sketch, because this is your first draft. This
Yes.
is not done.
Yes, this is just it's just keyframe animation.
Okay.
So I haven't really gotten back to like in between a lot of those scenes. It's going to be a lot smoother. It's going to have a lot more like clear motion. It's also going to be like inked digitally through like Photoshop.
Right.
So it's going to have like a little bit of a crisper look. I do want to have that like hatching kind of like raw look to it still, but I want it to be at least a little bit cleaner.
So if I would have made a video or an animation, I would have made one person walking. That looks so hard because they're fighting.
Yeah.
So the arms cross and everything crosses. That
Yeah.
seems like it's harder to keep track of.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult. I really planned it out. I boxed myself, which like really helped with like understanding the motion, understanding the kind of the physics of where something's going to be, the motion of like how a punch is going to like move, and
Right.
all of that other stuff. Because I think a lot of times people just kind of like generalize what a punch looks like and generalize what like
Right.
a lot of that stuff is, but like it has a very specific look and has a very specific like timing down to it.
And the reaction of the other person.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's take a look at your clip.
right.
It's very different, right? So what is the audience going to see? Tell us what it is. It's a 3D.
So it's a 3D animation built by Maya. And it's about like a three-wheeled drone that's wandering in an apocalyptic city,
Okay.
and he, being picked up by flying drones and blah blah blah. Spoiler.
Okay, so it's about a what that's going through a city?
A three-wheeled drone.
A three-wheeled drone
Right.
going through a city. So let's take a look. Okay, so the difference between yours was definitely hand drawn.
Yes.
Yours is drawn with?
It's a generated by the software.
Software
it's kinda
generated?
Like, yeah, it's kind of like digitally sculpting.
Okay.
It's a lot like clay.
Like playing with clay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Digitally sculpting.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a,
But you create the character of the machine that's going through the drone.
Right.
Okay.
So it's I built like the 3D model of it.
You built a
by-
3D model?
Right.
Oh.
So first I designed the character first on sheet of paper.
Okay.
And then I visualize how it's in 3D and start sculpting it and make it separate.
Wow. How long did it take to make that?
For this project, it took me like a half of the semester actually
To make what we just
that
saw.
graph, Yeah.
It's a lot of time.
Right.
Oh my gosh, that's dedication.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is this what you want to do when you go back to Indonesia?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you want to be an animator as well?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And do you want to work in television or video or for gaming, or do you have a choice, a preference?
So after this program ended, I want to try to join a studio.
Wonderful.
So I want to try to apply for like a job in animation, maybe in New Zealand.
And maybe in New Zealand, wow.
Yeah, it's closer to Indonesia, but I really want to try to work with Pixar in the future.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's really good to have a very clear vision of what you want, because if you can dream it and you can see it, you can grab it.
Right.
I really believe it. And I don't care if you work in Pixar in the mailroom for the first week, you get to know the people who work there, you get to know the
Absolutely.
culture, and then you move up.
Right.
Right? I'm a big believer in work in the right place, right? And then you get to understand how the company works. Well, I think that's awesome. I'm really proud of you. So when is the show?
May 14th.
May 14th.
Starts at 6:30. It's like the doors open at 6:30, and then the show itself starts at 7. It'll showcase about 15 different students and their work. The projects are all pretty like crazy. They're all really wild. There's one about like like a show of like there's these two twins and they're like fighting. They're trying to find these items, and it's a lot of really cool stuff though.
How many videos would we get to see if we went to see the show? 10, 15?
Well, because they're going to show everyone in our class, so that's about 15, but they're also going to show people from other classes and like the road to being a student within the animation portfolio class. So the show will show pieces from the history of animation class, the introduction to animation class, the 3D animation class, and just you'll get
A little bit of
yeah,
everybody.
it's about a 2-hour show actually.
So are either of you graduating this semester?
I am.
You're graduating, and you'll get your certificate for your
Right.
CCI program for 1 year.
Yeah.
And do you get a certificate in animation when you graduate from here?
I'm getting the associates in animation.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's so exciting.
Yeah.
I think that's such an interesting career, but it's hard.
Yes.
You guys picked a hard career.
Yeah. But it's so fun.
But
like
it's
it's
fun
just like like if you love doing it and you love like working on it, it doesn't feel like that bad, but like it's also like when you're just in a room by yourself for
Right.
like
Hours.
5, 6, 7 hours a day.
And especially in Indonesia, this kind of work is unusual because
Is it?
people want to work in office and
Right.
in engineering and stuff. So I decided to choose this path because it's fun, and this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. Thank you both for coming on. I'm so proud of both of you, and I wish you all the best. And congratulations on your certificate and graduating. And thank you for coming to spend a year learning in our country. And I hope that New Zealand works out.
Hopefully, yeah. Thank you for
Yeah.
having us.
Yeah.
Oh,
thank you for
thank
having
you.
us, yeah.
And I look forward to seeing your show. And for all of you out there, this year's MPTV Animation Night is on Tuesday, May 14th at 7 p.m. The event is free and it's open to the public, so please come and support our talented students. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. We look forward to seeing you at the theater and next time on Backstage Buzz. Thank you for coming.